So they don't necessarily have to apply to representation.
Absolutely. I agree. How do y'all, because I was actually thinking that, like, I think we need to add some more inclusive language into this.
You could add it on the 1 year plan or the 2 year plan
Or both. You want to add that on to specifically wellness, or in general, like make sure to engage, actively engage students of color and different backgrounds on campus? Something like that?
Yeah, that'd be great. I don't know how you feel about it.
Absolutely. I like that. Does everyone else does anyone else have any ideas about that? Yes, ma'am.
I was gonna just we're going to see because this is something that's obviously very important. Rather than go point by point and add it in once or twice, to make a new bullet point on top of this to say that representation includes guarantees. I have no idea what wording on that, but making it a new bullet point that would be applied to all bullet points rather than going point by point.
That's what I was
important enough to be as a bullet point.
That's what I envisioned. I think that what I think Senator Gore was saying is add it onto both plans, and if you could draft something now that would just say create a bullet point. That because I do Hannah said, I think that's it was a really good point that we didn't think about. So for those of you, everyone on board with that, thumbs up for me. Yay. Okay, so while you're working on what that bullet point looks like, I'm going to just
Yeah.
You in it?
Yeah, Mary and I.
Oh, for sure. Okay, so I'll come back. Okay. We're going to move on to the 5-year plan while that's being typed, okay? The ASUC will maintain and facilitate a holistically healthy and successful campus environment by building off of previous initiatives and student champion movements, include greater emphasis on campus climate. That is what Austin believes, and I kind of agree, because it's debate. So what do you think? Should we say yes?
I have no problems with not just access to the 5 years and stuff like that.
We're talking about
Later for them. Oh, sorry.
We're talking about including a greater emphasis on campus climate in our. I think the message behind what you're trying to get is that we don't have a great campus climate right now, and we need and based on race, gender, socioeconomic background, that needs to be very clear that that's what we're addressing.
Yeah, I just think, pretty much what Madison said, I think it's that statement as it reads is too universal, or universalized it. It makes it seem like there's one student experience in some ways, and it's not. I think we do need to be looking for every opportunity to be really inserting a more nuanced look at wellness and health and safety, and I'd want to include that in the vision.
Absolutely. Senator Hirschman?
Just maybe just check written student champion movement. Is there any movement that we're referring to, or is that just sort of broader term? I'm just looking for the student
I
champion.
think that's a good question. I think it's broad spectrum.
Yeah. So maybe refining that a little bit, because I don't know what student champion is right now that we're pushing for I don't know, just a thought.
Yeah, it'll come back up. So there's two thoughts. Kind of be more specific in championing the 5-year plan, and then directly address campus climate issues. I would really like maybe something about I don't know if we directly want to say the issues spearhead, tackle fixing some of the issues brought up in the climate survey. That is something that we all talked about, wanting to initiate. I think everyone got an email this week that was very similar from a certain member of the community who's really actively was pressuring the ASUC to address these issues and start now. I don't know if everyone for sure got that email yet.
And because campus climate covered multiple, a broad range of things. So could we specifically include comfortability of students, or what part of the campus climate are we trying to address? Because they can pick any portion of it, oh yeah, we'll address that. Even they may or may not.
Yeah, absolutely. Senator Hirschman?
But at the same time, I don't want to say disparaging it, because I agree 5 years is a long time from now, and none of us really know what the situation is like, so I think that it does a strong point or different, but we should try and be able to have more specific community. That's
Okay. Yeah.
Students of color always felt uncomfortable for the last hundreds of years in values.
No, I'm just saying,
That's something that like I think needs to be very specific and very clear.
That's why I said it should be more specific.
Yeah.
What if we said, and then I'm going to leave it to y'all to drop. This is what I'm thinking. We say, like, the ASUC will maintain and facilitate a holistically healthy and successful campus environment through addressing issues brought up by the climate survey, such as inclusivity on campus, uncomfortability of students on campus, and general student wellness. I don't know, something like that. Do people like see that being something? You're not a student, you heard, I don't know. I was saying like keep the first sentence and then say successful campus environment through addressing issues such as inclusivity, minority like discomfort on campus, overall health and wellness, that sort of thing. Okay, so should I type that or should that? Okay. So, and if anyone thinks differently, please speak out. The ASUC will maintain and facilitate a holistically healthy and successful campus environment by building off previous initiatives and addressing.
The problem is that's not the only issue. There's like charging too. Yeah, it's fine as it is. I'm good.
Yeah.
But thank you.
Yeah.
I was gonna add after successful campus environment in which students feel like all students, regardless of race, class, gender, sexuality,
I love that.
or other identities.
Race, class, gender,
Sexuality.
sexuality, religion,
Or,
mental health.
where,
That's identities, all identities. Like, otherwise,
well, and other identities. And we can include just those.
This is literally just a draft.
Senator Sue. Senator Jawaharlal.
Present.
Senator Tabusi.
President.
Senator Lee. Present. Senator Nambakar. Present. Senator Naveed.
Present.
Senator Nguyen.
Present.
Senator Pratat.
Present.
Senator Puri. Senator Mesh.
Present.
Senator Song.
Present.
Senator Gensky. And Senator Puri. So Senator Gensky is excused. Second item on the agenda is the adoption of the agenda as amended with SB1 in the consent calendar.
So moved.
Are there any objections? Motion passes by unanimous consent. Third item on the agenda is general public comments. We don't have any public comment cards up here, but if anyone in the audience would like to speak for 2 minutes each, that would be the time. Okay, so moving on to guests. First, we have the ASUC Student Union with 5 minutes and 5 minutes for questions.
How are y'all doing this evening? Few updates for you. Sheree, Nero, and I, Assistant Director of Facilities Operations. So some staffing and hiring updates from the ASUC Student Union. Today was the first day for Leah Robinson, the new Lead Center Coordinator for Student Cooperative Involvement and Leadership Programs. During the first month, Leah will be spending mornings in the Lead Center and afternoons with the BSC community. Please feel free to stop by the Lead Center and welcome Leah to the ASUC Student Union family. The job description for the Lead Center Associate Director for Student Government Advising and Leadership Programs has been approved and should be posted early next week. As the process goes forward, there will be opportunity for you all to participate in the on-campus interview process. Pavan and Brianna are on the search committee and can provide more information as the process moves forward. We will give updates at weekly meetings. Student staff. ASUC has hired, Student Environmental Resource Center has hired 2 students as program associates for the Green Initiative Fund and is currently looking to fill the following positions. So if you know anyone, please let them know. Nature Village Program Associates, and the posting is on Callisto and on the TGIF website. Guest Services hired 2 additional students to assist with the evening logistics for the Willard program. And Event Services hired 2 event planning interns for their upcoming year.
And then also, the facilities maintenance and operations, we will be posting in Callisto next week for a facilities specialist, so please be on the lookout for that. We're looking for engineers, architects that are interested, and also business majors that are really, really good at Excel. We're looking for you all to apply.
Some upcoming events. Student Environmental Resource Center is hosting Social Greens this Friday, October 3rd from 5 to 7 in Barrows Courtyard. This is the first Social Greens of the fall semester. And this is a program and conversation regarding sustainability and environmentally conscious initiatives and organizing. Save the date for the topping out ceremony of Eshelman Hall on October 14th, noon to 1:30. And again, topping out is when the last beam of Eshelman Hall will be placed on top of the building. Everyone will have the opportunity to sign the beam. Please come out and sign this historic beam starting at 9 a.m. on the 14th. So the beam will be out there on the 14th beginning at 9 for students to sign. Program and service updates. CERC also hosted 3 events last week: Eco Advisory Council, the CERC Film Series, and a CERC Workshop. All events were very informative and successful. Students were engaged and learned about a variety of issues ranging from coalition building, preservation of rainforest, deforestation of rainforest caused by palm oil production, and how to write a successful grant. The fraternity and sorority advising team within the Lead Center hosted UC President Napolitano on Monday, September 29th. We met 27 chapter presidents, council officers, and ASUC Greek senators. The group spoke about important issues concerning the Cal Greeks and UC Berkeley community, including sexual assault, resources for non-housed organizations and communities, and access education within the UCs. Let's see. And just a reminder to all the student communities you work with, walk-in hours in the Lead Center are every Monday through Friday from 2 to 4, so they do not need an appointment to meet with anyone in the center. And the Willard Late Night program, great news, we doubled our reservations this week. We have plenty of open rooms each night, so please keep spreading the word to students from 10 to 2 in Willard.
And then this Friday is the Cal Cleanup Day. I do want to encourage you all to participate. It is in preparation for homecoming. Also, it'll be in preparation for the topping out of the beam. It's from 1 to 4. We're meeting at Sadler Gate. This is a campus community activity, so students, staff, faculty, everyone is welcome to come participate. I know the first 150 folks to show up with a full bag of butts. This is in support of the tobacco-free campus. We're celebrating the anniversary of that. The first 150 folks will get a t-shirt, so I'm looking to get my t-shirt. Hopefully you guys will be there too.
And those are all our updates. There are no objections. Well, if that's all the updates. We have 5 minutes for questions from senators. Any questions? Okay, let's thank the student union. Next up is the ASUC Sexual Assault Commission for 15 minutes and 5 minutes for questions.
I think that should be Mental Health Coalition, and Sexual Assault Commission was for a later date. I'm sorry I didn't see that earlier.
Okay, so let's invite up the Mental Health Coalition for 15 minutes.
So, my name is Christine. I'm one of the co-chairs for the Mental Health Coalition. I'm also my name is Christine, and I'm one of the
co-chair for the Mental Health Coalition. Hi, my name is Matt, and I'm one of the other co-chairs for the Mental Health Coalition, as well as president of We Need More, which is a suicide awareness club at Cal, and director of mental health at City of New York.
Great. So the Mental Health Coalition is focused on providing and facilitating a forum where mental health organizations and other interested parties such as ASUC officials, RAs, and other housing representatives can come together and talk about creating a long-term vision about how and why mental health resources should be available on campus. Some of our goals is
They should get that. And then since we're getting so close to the deadline, people should start getting their information in the mail also about the different ballots, ballot initiatives, and propositions and candidates. Does anyone have any questions about the beautiful form? Yeah, that's.
Hi, thanks for doing this, Caitlin.
Yeah.
Can you clarify citizen and what exactly that means?
Yeah. You have to be legally recognized as a citizen, so green card doesn't count, undocumented doesn't count. It's pretty shitty since all those people are still obviously affected by all the decisions that politicians make. But yeah, so basically you have to have a social security to register to vote.
Any other questions? Senator Pritzkat?
Thank you, Caitlin. Is it possible for you to send this presentation out to us so we can share it with our community members?
Yeah, definitely. We'll send that soon. Hold on. Yeah, we're doing a training on Saturday right here from 1 to 4. So send your community members, send community leaders. Everyone needs to know how to register other people to vote. Otherwise, they're just going to get a bunch of forms that are like wrongly filled out, and that's just embarrassing for us. And it's also not, it's like the opposite of productive because people think they're registered and they're not, so they show up to the polls and try to vote, and they like might get a provisional ballot, and it's just so much work for everyone, and it doesn't get counted, so it sucks. So you can also check online at sos.ca.gov about whether you're registered. All you have to do is know your address and your birthday. That was super awkward freshman year because I lived in Foothill, and so another girl had my birthday in Foothill, so I accidentally found out what party she was registered with. And I knew her, and it was a shocking update. So it's pretty easy to do it, and it could also pretty much, that's a good way for you to check what address you're registered with. Yeah, so definitely tell everyone to check and make sure they're registered at their most recent address. If there's any doubt, tell them to re-register. It never hurts to register more, because we want you all to be able to vote, because all these people are trying to make decisions that affect us, and we deserve a voice. That is my spiel. Thank you.
So up next, we have two appointed officials. The reason why we put it up on the guest section rather than the finance section is because they have no chance tomorrow, and we want to respect their time as well. So we have ASUC Fundraising Director Elizabeth Goldman for 5 minutes and 5 minutes for questions.
I'm Elizabeth Goldman, for those who don't know me. I am a ASUC fundraising director. Thank you for having me tonight. So my team is composed of 2 sophomores, and they're my associates, and together we have been deciding our platforms and our goals. So one of the projects that I'm working on is helping to fund the Cal Lodge, because I know that there's a Cal Lodge committee that's been formed. So my job is to fund construction costs. That's been put on hold, so I'm waiting to hear back. But it's also on my agenda. Ultimately, our main goal is to develop a fund to serve as a source for advocacy. So we foresee issues like mental health, sustainability, and we foresee it to run, we can figure out logistics, but to be controlled by the ASUC, and to be kind of like captive, but we would be in charge of it. So maybe like the Senate and the Finance Committee, we would discuss that internally. So we're looking for ways to fundraise. So we're thinking of alumni and corporate sponsors. So we're looking at that. And also, I should mention that through the EVP, because I'm consulting with them, we have a database system called Salsa Labs, where supporters of causes can sign up, and we can email them out and maintain connection toward them. So whatever sources we find for our advocacy fund, if we also maybe suggest a student advocacy fee added to tuition if we feel that this would be impactful and necessary. Also, I'm putting a call out to any of the Senate offices or executive offices that if you need any help fundraising in the immediate future, let me know. You can email me at fundraising@asuc.org. And that's what I have so far. So I thank you for having me. I'm open to questions.
Okay, 5 minutes for questions for your fundraising director. Senator Gordon.
Hi, thank you so much for coming. So my question is, have you been looking, besides alumni and student tuition, have you been looking at other national grants? Because we are a nonprofit, have you been looking into applying to any of those that fit kind of our
Yeah, that's a great option, thanks. But besides alumni, the obvious choice would be local sponsors. I think we can definitely find a lot of interested parties in Berkeley especially who care about the community and care about the students. So we're definitely keeping our options wide open.
Any other questions? Okay, let's thank Elizabeth. Up next, we have the Commissioner of Diversity Affairs, Kirby Lynch, for 5 minutes and 5 minutes.
Commissioner of Diversity Affairs, and I just want to say congratulations, y'all. Wow, it's been a long time since I've seen you last. Congratulations on all the success. So just to get straight into it, let me just tell you what I've done, or what I'm working towards this semester. So I'm a part of the Green Initiative Fund, working on your waste diversion initiative, and making sure that all of the media that is coming out of this initiative will include multiple communities and kind of strive away from a dominant narrative of what it means to be a part of the green movement, right? And so this is through the School of Engineering, working with them, working with administration there, and making sure that the Green Initiative Fund and just more eco movements here on the Cal campus are including multiple communities and communities that are diverse and that are marginalized and are not included in the dominant narrative, coming into what it means to recycle and prevent waste, right? Also working with the cross-cultural student development to create a diversity training database. And
so basically on this date in 2015, it'll be up to $11, and then in 2016 it'll be up to $12.53, which is pretty good, but we're pushing for 15, which is a way more affordable wage to live on. It's still not really a living wage, but why would we give people money enough to live? Capitalism. But it's okay, it's fine. So we're working on that. I'm going to be working with the UC Student Association to see how we can get the UC to raise its minimum wage, because in case I haven't told you a million times, the UC doesn't have to listen to city law, especially city law about money, which sucks. It sucks for students that work on this campus, it sucks for workers that work on this campus and have to commute from as far as like Pinole or Hayward. So that's something we're going to be talking about soon, so I'll keep you all in the loop. If anyone wants to get involved and raise the wage East Bay, Measure FF in Oakland is trying to raise the minimum wage in November. And then there are a bunch of other people in Berkeley thinking about hopefully getting a ballot measure for 2016. I've also been emailing the president of USSA to try and get him to come here and hopefully
either lead a workshop with me or something, or at least meet with other student leaders than just me. I would be happy to board them all to myself, but I also think it would be really cool for you all to ask them questions and for you all to ask them why they benefit Berkeley if they benefit Berkeley. So that'll probably be October 26th or 27th, because he'll already be at UC Santa Cruz, so it doesn't like he has to fly out from DC. Yesterday I met with the government pathways leaders from the Public Service Center, so they're trying to connect everyone from like UC-DC and Cal and the Capitol and whatnot, and kind of connecting students to different opportunities, which I'm really excited about. I think the ASUC could benefit a lot from it, because a lot of us do our 4 years in the ASUC, and then we don't really have any outside world connections after we graduate. External affairs is a little luckier because we work with a lot of people off campus, but for a lot of folks, all of their work is on campus, so unless they want a job on campus, they don't necessarily have all the connections in politics, and most of the real world is all about connections, unfortunately. The American dream is not real, people. I tried. We got 2 dates to go into the dorms and go door to door, which is really, really exciting. 2 years ago, we only got 2 hours. This year, we get a combined total of 6 hours, which means we can be a lot more effective and actually talk to students and answer their questions instead of running through and trying to manage a bunch of people at once. And we also won't have RHA tailing us and taking up all our time for one of their dances, which was super important. I understand. So that'll be on the 14th and the 16th. We're dividing up the residence halls, so we'll need about 30 volunteers every night. It would be really, really cool if y'all can volunteer for those nights as well as the lobby nights, because again, it's a really good way for y'all to meet people, especially if you're running for exec. I know some of you are thinking about it. It's fine, you can admit it. And then the last update, city politics are still super shady. Don't trust anyone. Everyone is out to get you. I'm not being paranoid, it's real, just ask any of us execs. That's all I have. Does anyone have any questions? See, just ask us.
Questions for EAVP, Senator Putzka.
Thank you, Kevin. Can you repeat the days for the voter registration and res halls and also the other date you mentioned? You mentioned a lot of dates, but
yeah.
For voting related dates, please.
Yeah, so there's a training in this hall this Saturday, October 4th, I believe, from 1 to 4. You don't have to be there the whole time, but send people to it. The next 2 weeks, so October 6th through 10th and October 13th through 17th, will be in different lobbies of residence halls, different dining commons again, to try and get students while they're kind of more relaxed, not hustling through Sproul, trying to get through to class. And then on October 14th and 16th, which is the Monday and Tuesday before the voter registration, or the Tuesday and Thursday, excuse me, before the voter registration deadline, we will be going to every single door, knocking on every single door in the dorms. We got permission to do that, which is really exciting. So that's how UC Santa Barbara always beats us, and they suck, and we're better. And then the last day to register to vote is October 20th. So as long as it's postmarked on October 20th before 5 p.m., you are good to go. So those are all the voter reg dates.
Additional questions for EAVP? Okay, let's thank Caitlin.
Next up, we have the AAVP Chief of Staff, Brennan Bundle.
Hi everyone. Big week in AAVP. I feel like I say that every week. It's always like the first thing on my notes. But actually, this is like a really colossal week for AAVP in that we will soon have an AAVP, which is very, very exciting. So this past Saturday, the selection committee met to select Mon Cheng Chow as their nominee. Thank you to all of you who were there and shared your questions, comments, and concerns. I and the rest of the office look forward to a speedy and painless confirmation so our office can be complete and given the legitimacy it so rightfully deserves. Monchine and I have already begun some basic transitioning to ensure that we can maximize the time that we have left this year and paying special attention to the recommendations that were begun to be drafted by the selection committee. So over on the policy side of our office, I basically have all hands on deck, working on proposals for the Chancellor's Advisory Committee on Student Services and Fees. We are spearheading or partnering with other offices on 7 different grant proposals. So we're really, really busy. And if you would like any information about what we're working on, feel free to ask or reach out to me via email. We can always use additional help. Those proposals aren't easy to write. But we have a lot of great ideas and projects being pumped out of the office. So another exciting development. Last week, Senators Kavousi, Gordon, and I had a really engaging meeting with Kathy Kodama from the King Center and Professor Rudy Mendoza-Denton. You saw the vigorous snapping. It was a really great meeting, actually. Professor Mendoza-Denton has been tasked with developing a wellness seminar for all incoming students that would roll out next fall. And he has basically been given free rein, and he really does genuinely want to incorporate students into the planning process. I won't go into too much detail, but it'll include at least 8 different topics determined in large part by students and taught by faculty experts, and it'll be all incoming students, which is very, very exciting. So right now, Senators Kavousi, Gordon, and I are looking for student reps to sit on the Student Core Planning Committee, and we're trying to make sure that it can be as representative as possible of the many different identities at Cal. And I mean, so if you have any suggestions or interested yourself, feel free to reach out, but know that we're trying to prioritize non-senators to sit on the committee so we can get their voices heard. You'll have plenty of time to share your suggestions and feedback with the ASUC folks who are involved in the project, but it's really, really exciting.
There are like a handful of interns that are also lost, and we're trying to figure out the logistics as to how that happens, because they were all assigned, and we're trying to figure out whether they just decided to enroll in the decal by themselves, because that seems to be a small problem that's happening right now. So we'll definitely get back to you about like, the specifics on that. But for your case specifically, we can talk offline about like whatever complications we're having, and then communicate that with Sean. Any other questions?
So, sorry, I have 3 questions, kind of, hopefully short. So for the internship program, I had someone come to the ACC table on Tuesday, I believe, asking about how to go about switching offices, so I have no idea how to answer that question. The second question is, for tabling materials, are we supposed to keep them in your office or somewhere in the Senate lounge? And if so, like, can we have a specific location for those? And then lastly, do you have any information about other financial accounts of the ASUC? So do we have like an asset total for the ASUC? Or do we just have the budget of allocations?
Okay. So your first question about switching offices, if there are any complaints that are happening, ask them to email Sean directly or me, and I'll forward it to Sean. And we'll figure out exactly why that's happening, if there are like any grievances that need to be mitigated between certain offices or whatever. Sean will handle all of that and figure out how best to assign them a different office that they can work in. As for tabling, I know there's been a lot of different confusion. I think I'll get back to you about that specifically. My understanding is that it's going to be on top of the black cabinets next to the door, not in the VP, because that is an MCD thing. But if there are like some inconsistencies as to how that's being run right now, I'd love the feedback and see how best we can move forward with that. But as of right now, my understanding is that it's going to be a black cabinets. In terms of finances, right now, Paula Lofgren in the ACC union is like her hands are completely full right now, and we're trying to get her one more staff member to handle all of the logistical stuff in terms of processing all the finances. I have been like keeping in touch with her throughout the entirety of the summer to get more information about the finances and like beyond just like a budget right now. But she's honestly like she's so busy right now. So if you'd be patient with her and the office, I'll get back to you and do that.
Thank you.
Any questions? Any other questions? Awesome. Okay, moving on to the next item on the agenda, ASUC official reports. First we have the Finance Officer, Dennis Lee.
So this week I've done the usual weekly budget bill. I've also assisted ICOM on passing the budget realignment bill, which is, it's like on the calendar. It's not passed just yet. Hopefully it will pass. What else? I went to tabling like this week. Like I think it was like on Tuesday. Yeah, I saw it on today. Yeah, really fun. Basically, yeah. Okay. Yeah, that was fun. I don't know what else to say. Okay. I think I sent out an email to all the senators about the regulations on the senators discretionary fund. So I know many of you have questions about that and want to use that fund. It is. Per the bylaws, you can start spending that fund, but then like currently it's not available just yet. So you can still spend it because it's still in a reimbursement process. So just spend it, keep on your receipt, and we'll process it later, probably very soon. And I also sent out an email to all the student group signatories about to informing them the possible ASUC funding that they can apply for, such as Senate contingency, and also space reservation, GeoLab, and cooperative opportunity funding, like that. Because the current ASUC website doesn't really have much information on the topic, so I thought that I would send an email to inform them. And yeah, I can end that. Any questions?
Questions for the finance officer, Senator Naveed.
Hey Dennis.
So,
I was talking to you about the space reservation fund for the senators. Did you ever find out about that? On whether or not we can access that fund?
yeah, so basically, each of the senator is kind of like a secretary. So it's basically it's kind of like a student group, technically, but not really. Technically, it will be able to. Senators will be able to apply for space reservation fund. But the thing is, since a lot of student groups will also want to apply for that fund, I would encourage senators to find other source of funding to accommodate for the needs for space rentals, or we can transfer money from carry forward, or maybe Senate contingency, because there's currently more funding in Senate contingency than space reservation funding.
Senator Gensky.
Can you just repeat the last part? It's kind of over.
Yeah. Sorry. Okay. So, what did I say?
You can take it from the Senate contingency fund. Did you
Just
say?
speak into his mic, that would be really great so that it's on record.
Yes. Could you just repeat that last part?
Yeah. So because currently we have about 22,000 in space reservation. But in my past experience last year, many groups will want to apply for that funding because of the loss of space in the Ocean Hall. So I would like to reserve those funding for student groups because just to accommodate the needs, and then senators, we can accommodate the needs of senators in other ways, such as Senate contingency, because we currently have around $47,000 in that funding, and also we can transfer money from carry forward to Senate only, or into Senator's discretionary fund. But okay, one more thing. I would encourage you all to apply for. Use your funding from Senator's discretionary fund first, because each of you have $500 in that account that you can spend money on programs or hosting workshops for students and stuff like that.
Senator Sue.
Can you elaborate more on the audit finance for student organizations document that you sent to FICOM for the rest of the senators?
Oh. Yeah. Okay,
And if we do have a problem, I don't think I should have to explain my reasoning. Again, just to reference this, not everybody voted yes for Monche through the search committee. I'm by no means saying that I have any intention to vote against it, but I think that, just clarifying that and allowing senators to know that is very important. To know that, although we might have agreed that a unanimous approval of our AAVP is important, there are a lot of other things that senators should be able to voice, and we can also possibly entertain when we're voting, provide comment. By no means am I saying that I'm voting against Montaigne. No means, like, we can clarify this further. I just wanted to place that concern on there because I want this to be as free and open as possible when we're voting, so that senators feel comfortable about voting what's within their own within their own understanding of who they want to accept for AAVP. But I do welcome the discussion offline about if there was a differing opinion of a 2020 vote outcome, to how we can remedy that or how we can adjust our understandings.
Okay. I'm going to take a speaker's list. So Senator Pritzkat, Senator Calusi, Senator Deja, and Senator Frankel.
Thank you. I want to first thank Madison for that report. I'll make a couple different comments. As I see it, I don't really think we have a choice whether or not to vote unanimously for Montaigne. I don't know why I've heard let's talk real, right? So at the nominating meeting, there's people who said that they weren't sure if they were voting for Montaigne, and that's fine. People are respectable decisions how they voted in the nomination committee, but we put forth a nominee, and that nominee, because we desperately need the AAVP, this person is also qualified, should receive 20 full votes. If we do not send our nominee forward with 20 votes, like Madison said correctly, this person is going to have a very, very difficult time communicating with administrators. I met with Christian Teeter, who is the chief of staff for Kathy Koshland, the vice chancellor of undergraduate education. And when I talked to him about the student advisory committee on undergraduate education, which is part of the division, her division, and he talked to me about how last year the AVP and traditionally the AVP is a part of that committee, and he would not, nor would Kathy, consider having the AVP chief be a part of that space until we have an AVP. And I would go so far as to say that we should seriously think whether that person would even be allowed, the AVP would be allowed in that space without 20 full votes. And that is one committee within the whole university. So I can keep going, but we need to do this. We need to vote full 20. We don't really have a question about it. And I would really love to talk to you offline if you are considering not voting for Montaigne. But the legitimacy of the ACC is depending on this. Our ability to fight for students. We have a fiduciary responsibility as well as a moral responsibility to represent students and to represent the full 36,000 voices. And if we are willing to risk partisanship or ACC brinkmanship and not support those students and not strengthen the AVP, I think we're doing a profound disservice to the students. So I'll stop talking, but we should vote for 20 for 20, and y'all need to make sure we do this.
Senator Calusi.
I feel like all senators off their cell phones and looking at me. I'm sorry. I'm not pointing it out. I'm just saying. Because I check my phone and point to it. I understand. But this is when we decided at SLI that we need to remove ourselves from party politics. It's decisions like this. I understand voting freely, but I also understand voting with a party and voting blindly. And I don't want to see that next week. On top of that, as Senator Pritzkat was mentioning, I'm having a hell of a hard time getting the stuff I want to get done, because a lot of it has to do with academic advising, and Bob Jacobson won't see me anymore until we have an AVP. I'm sorry, but that's just the way it is. So if we want to represent our students effectively, we need to pass this nomination. If you had problems, which I know people did, they came up last week, and this was the best candidate. And I know, it's shitty. I understand wanting to vote freely. But I think that at this point it's too late. On top of that, if you do vote against Montaigne or abstain, you owe us a fucking hell of an explanation. I'm sorry for cursing, I'm sorry if that sounded professional, but as a senator, that's your right. You do have to explain yourself. I'm not calling anyone out, but I'm saying I'm frustrated
not because I'm linked to a party, but because I want to help pre-med students on this campus, and Bob Jacobson won't hear me out. So it's not a matter of voting with party lines, it's a matter of getting our stuff done and being effective senators. And I'm a senior, I have like 5 months left, y'all. I want to get my shit done. I'm sick of saying my stuff's pending, because it looks like I'm not doing anything, and I'm working my ass off. So yeah, if you have problems, talk to me offline. But again, this is not a matter of party politics. This is ASUC, our autonomy, our power. So that's why I want everyone to get off their phones and stop texting their parties about what they should do. Vote with your mind. You have your own time.
Senator Deja?
Well, that's what I'm going to follow up on. For me, the way I see it is, if you do have a problem with the candidate, like this is your time to voice it. She is a person, she can do the same things as the other candidate can if you tell her what you want, but if you don't tell her what you want and then get mad that she's not doing what you want, that's a personal problem. And like, yeah, you can vote freely, but like, she's capable of doing just as much as the other candidate was, and like Madison has done a really good job with coming up with a recommendation sheet, and if we don't fill that out, like that's on us, and like we cannot take that on her. And like honestly, if y'all choose not to vote unanimously, like that is your personal problem. But as Drew said, like I do expect an explanation, simply for the fact that like this isn't about you nor your party. This is about the campus, and like as much as we ran with whoever we ran with, we are representing 36,000 students on this decision. Like this is not about us. Like this person, yeah, like she might have worked with counselors since she was here, but like what she's done is not counselor oriented, it's student oriented. So like as much as y'all might not like who she's with or whatever, like that's petty. And if you are representing what we're 20 people, we're representing about 1,800 people. If we can't put our own shit aside, then why are we here?
Senator Frankel?
Thank you, Madison, Paul, Austin, Green, Adonis, and everyone. My heart is racing right now, so like bear with me. I want to preface by saying that student action doesn't block vote. It's the pillar, hands down the pillar I hold closest to me. And every time I talk with student action, and I hate bringing up like parties in general, it makes me incredibly uncomfortable. But I know that that's really
having great conversations. We were definitely collaborating on everything from CACSIF to voter registration, right? We were having really great productive conversations, and I have great working relationships with everybody, and that's the state of it right now.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Senator Frankel?
Thank you again for coming in. It's cool that you were able to come out here. Really helpful. To not waste everyone's time, I look forward to talking with you one-on-one. Very much so, and I look forward to hearing about the interview that I was out of town for, so that'll be great. And I apologize to everyone. I definitely should email or something to get an overview of how it was. Whoever the email is unclear, because anyway. And with that, I want to ask you, hopefully this is a repetition of a question we got prior previously. Can you speak to experience or your thoughts on working with people who you don't agree with strongly? I don't know how to phrase this, but like,
so people I disagree
yeah,
with.
maybe Eric, me.
So, has there ever been a time when you had trouble working with people? And if so, how did you learn from that, and how just yeah.
So like even more specifically, like can you speak to like your open-mindedness? I'm sorry, I know like people are giving me like sassy faces, but this is something that's important to me. So if you could speak to that, that'd be great.
Sure. So, I mean, it's no secret that I hold, that I have values, right? That I am progressive. And I definitely stick to those, but that does not mean, I want to treat a difference between values and leadership style. My leadership style is a collaborator. I was a chief of staff for 2 years, and that meant having to lead a very diverse team. I had the largest Senate office of my year, and we had 3 different communities, all very different. It was transfer, environmental, and queer. Very different concerns, very different working styles, and I was able to work with all of them. We were able to pass the largest number of bills of that year because of that. And in the exec offices, you really do have to put partisanship aside. There was never a time where I worked on a project that benefited through the ASUC that only benefited one side. When we worked on the the UC Berkeley Food Pantry, it wasn't only for progressive students who faced food insecurity. It's for all students who face food insecurity. When we put together the Student Space Reservation Fund, it wasn't only for progressive organizations, it was for all organizations who struggled with finding space. And so, yes, I do have opinions. Most people do. But that doesn't preclude me from working with people.
Thank you very much. I think I'll just talk to you further when we go on.
Sure.
Friday night. What?
Friday
night.
Awesome.
Thank you.
Is there an ongoing card?
This is just really practical, just to save me from having to take my phone to check your decal. But when are you meeting with people tomorrow on Friday? Or when and where?
Oh, it's one-on-ones. I'm having, I think,
Okay, so there's not.
I think Senator Frankel and I are getting coffee.
Great, okay, so we'd have to add that to your decal if we'd like to.
Yeah. I'm a little all booked up this week, but I would love to meet with you next week.
Monday, Tuesday, Thursday. Thank you.
Any other questions for Monshane before we move into general comments for folks who haven't spoken in some time? Okay, well, thank you, Monshane.
Okay, this is an official motion. So I move to commit the motion to nominate Monshane Chu to the Committee of the Whole to be reported out by the end of October 1st and to appoint Senator Gordon as the chair. Let me do it again. Okay, so this means that we will be, Alec is better with bylaws.
So this is a motion that was requested to just write out parliamentary procedure. It's implementing Marion's idea. She had the board to vote on it today. This puts it into the committee. You all will be able to debate it, then vote on it today. Now, you'll have to vote on it again next week, because this is just a committee. This is another committee. You're sending it back to another committee. But this is a mechanism for you all to do what Marion suggested, which is showing whether you all will be unanimous or not, and you just express everyone's opinions and you give everyone an outlet to actually officially voice how they're going to vote.
Yeah, I just feel it's very necessary for us to say this right now. This is, like Alec was saying, this is not the official vote, right? This is, the next week will be the hopefully unanimous vote, whatever you all want to call it. But I just think it's important for us to use this as an opportunity to directly discuss things, because what I've been noticing is that we're always saying that let's talk about it offline, let's go talk about it later, and nobody actually talks about it in this space altogether. This will force everyone to talk about it now. So that's
So there's a motion on the floor right now. Is there a second? Okay. You have an objection? All those in favor say aye. Aye. All those against say nay. I think the ayes have it. So the motion passes by majority. Okay, cool. So we're going to vote by hand now. So all those in favor, please raise your hand. So because we only need 10 votes to make this happen, the motion passes. We will send this vote and discussion into the committee of the whole later on the agenda.
Have received recent information post the interviews that I don't feel is fair to share in this setting, and I would rather talk one-on-one with Monty about it because it is mean, for lack of better words. So I will vote no until further notice because I feel very strongly about what I heard, and obviously it can be very untrue, but it's something I need to clarify before I can vote. But assuming that's true, my vote is no.
Senator John Hall.
I believe I have a comment before we take a vote, so. Hi. So I believe I have a comment right before we do our vote, and I'd like to take this time to just, considering that we will vote to vote on the nominee right now, I would like everyone to think about who has spoken in this room and who has not, as well as senators that have stepped out during this conversation. Senators that have previously in interviews expressed that they wanted a unanimous vote, people of parties, and yes, bringing in the political part, there have been people in different parties that have expressed that they want a unanimous vote. This is coming from Cal Senator as well as Student Action. And I would like you to consider this before we take our vote, and also think about people that have not spoken up. And I personally have a problem knowing that we're going to take a vote, and I haven't heard from all the senators and their opinions, not once in this entire committee, as well as in our previous committee. So please consider that when you vote.
Oh, Senator Brother. Also, I just really wanted to quickly say I'm sorry for being on my phone for part of tonight. I'm having a personal thing at home that I've been talking to my mom about, and that's not like talking about a party. That's been what's going on. Just wanted to clarify that. Also, what I do want to address right now is that there have been a lot of personal attacks throughout this whole process, not to mention our candidates, and a lot of them have been proven untrue. A lot of them are up for debate, and a lot of them are really controversial. A lot of them should be talked about further, which is why Madison made the list where we put our concerns and address them in the future. So if senators do have concerns, they need to go on that document. I also just really want to reiterate how this past weekend was pretty transparent about what was going on. And I don't want to be super partisan, but like I am. 8 House senators were there. That's all 8 of us. The SLUF senators were there. Not all the student action was there, to put it bluntly. And it wasn't. I know everybody has personal things going on, and I don't want to be like, that wasn't a thing, but that's so important that when we have these discussions, they're taken into the right spaces. And I don't feel like this is the correct space for us to have this conversation right now. That time has already passed, but we are having it right now, and it needs to be had now so that we can move into this vote unanimously, make a decision, so we can be better for our student body. So that is what we are left to do. And without unanimously voting on March 2nd to become our next AAP, we are doing a huge disservice to our communities and to the students that we represent. Because as so many senators tonight have pointed out, the administration will not take us seriously. They already don't take us seriously. We need an AAP immediately who will address that and help us out here. Okay, so if there are no further comments, I would like to move to end discussion, which requires 2/3 of you to be okay with that, and then we'll go into a vote. So all in favor to end discussion, please say aye. Aye. All those against, please say no. Okay, that motion passes with unanimous consent. I'd now like to motion to recommend
the nomination of Monshane. Basically, it just means, what would you vote? And also reminder that you can do this with comment at the end. So we'll do it roll call. Yes.
What are the options for voting? Is it yes?
There's, yeah.
Yes with comment, no comment?
Yeah, aye with comment, no with comment, abstain with comment. Oh, sorry, no abstain with comment, just abstain. And this passes with a simple majority. But it's only a recommendation for all of us next week. So, okay, with that, Senator Broder.
Aye.
Senator DeSalia.
Aye.
Senator Dejen.
Aye.
Senator Frankel.
No?
Senator Gabrielli.
Abstain.
Senator Gordon, aye. Senator Gensky.
Aye with comment.
Senator Heredia.
Aye.
Senator Hirschman. Senator Sue.
Aye.
Senator Dewar Halal.
Aye. Comment.
Senator Kavusi.
I would comment.
Senator Lee.
I would comment.
Senator Namgankar.
Present.
Senator Naveed.
I would comment.
Senator Nguyen.
Aye.
Senator Pritzpat.
Aye.
Senator Burry. Senator Ramesh.
I would comment.
Senator Zhang.
I would comment.
Okay, we move into comments, starting with, who had the first comment? Gensky. Senator Gensky.
I didn't have a lot of experience interfacing with administrators outside of my role as the manager of UC Men's Octet, and acapella I don't think is necessarily always as maybe a powerful as impact as what we can do in the Senate. My first real meeting within administration was during SLI, our lunch with Kathy Koshland. I'd just like to tell you what she said. She point blank said, I don't think the ASUC is a representation of all students. It was powerful for me because it was what Justin and Brianna had been saying, and I never thought anyone would just say it. I want you to know that people say that. And that this kind of decision is what makes people stop saying that. That's all I have to say.
Next person with comment, was that Senator Sue? No? Senator Dewar Hall.
For those that abstained or said no, I just sincerely ask you all to please reach out to Aunt Shane within the next time period before our next Senate meeting, as well as reach out to multiple people that are in this room, other than Aunt Shane as well, because yes, it is really important to understand where she's coming from, but I would also like you to understand where the rest of your fellow senators are coming from, people that sat on the committee, people from different parties. I strongly believe in getting the whole picture, and that I know for myself, when I'm making a decision, I want to hear everyone's side of the story, everyone's opinions to help make a good decision for myself. And
Please return to your seats.
Sounds good. Okay, yeah, just check out our decal.
Good to sit here.
What?
Good to sit here. Yeah, Jonathan had to go. He was sick.
What?
Jonathan had to leave. He was sick. said you told me to sit here. Just in case.
What?
I don't know, maybe like volume.
Do you have to do anything?
No, I didn't do anything. You should be fine. Huh? You should be fine. Wait,
Let's do this, guys. Like, seriously. How much more you guys can talk to everyone else afterwards, but we all gotta do what we gotta do.
We reconvene the Senate meeting at 11:10 p.m. Senator Brother.
Present.
Senator Talia. Present. Senator Dejan.
Present.
Senator Frankel.
Present.
Senator Gabrielli. Present. No, you need to speak into the mic and sit down. Thank you. Present. Senator Gensky. Present. Senator Gordon.
Present.
Senator Heredia. Present. Senator Hirschman. Present. Senator Stu.
Present.
Senator Waharlal.
Present.
Senator Kabusi.
Present.
Senator Lee. Present. Senator Nangankar. Present. Senator Nadeed.
Present.
Senator Nguyen. Present. Senator Pritzkat. Present. Senator Perry. Senator Mesh. Present. Senator Zong. Present. Senator Perry. Okay, cool. So, thank you all for that. Senator Gordon first.
So I would like to report that the committee recommended the nomination of Mon-Chain Chow by the following roll call vote. Senator Broder, aye. Senator DeSalia, aye. Senator Dejan, aye. Senator Frankel, no. Senator Gabrielli, abstain. Senator Gensky, aye. Senator Gordon, aye. Senator Heredia, aye. Senator Hirschman, no. Senator Sue, aye. Senator Jarwahala, aye. I'm so sorry. Senator Kabusi, aye. Senator Lee, aye. Senator Nangankar, present. Senator Naveed, aye. Senator Nguyen, aye. Senator Pritzkat, aye. Senator Puri, absent. Senator Ramesh, aye. Senator Zong, aye.
Are there any objections to that? If there are no objections, this will be adopted as through unanimous consent. Moving on, finally. The next item on the agenda is the consent calendar. Does anyone want to pull anything from the consent calendar into immediate consideration? Senator Pritzkat.
I'd like to motion to add to the consent calendar the appointment of Senators Naveed, Kabusi, Frankel, Sue, Broder, and Pritzkat to the Peer Wellness Counseling Program Committee.
There's a motion on the table. Is there a second?
Second.
Are there any objections? Motion passes by unanimous consent. It's added to the consent calendar.
Yeah. Once again, Senators Naveed, Kabusi, Frankel, Sue, Broder, Pritzkat.
Does anyone want to pull anything from the consent calendar for immediate consideration? Senator
Move to
DeSalia.
pull SB7 from consent calendar to immediate consideration, considering that's what was it last week.
Yeah. So SB7 has been pulled for immediate consideration. Are there any other bills that need to be pulled?
The other bills are finance bill will be forward. A bill realigning and then ASUC Senate bill, graduate assembly resolution, support developing the first holiday program development students to the schools. The motion to amend the previously adopted SB 14-1504 by striking 16 results clause and replacing it with the 8 by the same committee on constitutional review. The newly added motion to appoint senators on being Kabusi, Frankel, or chat to the committee on
Peer Wellness Counseling Program.
Wellness Counseling, and lastly, the motion to amend the previously adopted SB 14-1501 by inserting the of the committee of the whole on the agenda for the first result clause and by the committee of the whole on the advocacy.
Do any of those need to be pulled? Okay, I would like to entertain a motion to pass the consent calendar.
Seconded.
Are there any objections? The consent calendar passes by unanimous consent. Moving on to immediate consideration, SB 7. I believe we talked briefly about it last week, but Senator Hirschman wasn't here to discuss the bill, so I'm going to give the floor to Senator Hirschman to talk about the bill.
Okay. So I was not here last meeting before the Rosh Hashanah, and I've heard some. Actually, no senators during this past week have reached out to me regarding the bill. I've reached out to various senators, and I just, with respect to time, want to hear if there are any concerns or problems that I could address currently regarding the bill. Yeah.
I'll take the speakers list. Folks who want to speak or ask Senator Hirschman any questions, please raise your hand. Senator Bruce seems to be the only one, so Senator Bruce.
Thank you, Senator Hirschman. You graciously reached out to me twice, actually, so that was awesome. Thank you very much. And he answered most of my questions. I have one question that I didn't think of until today was why. Just in terms of, you said your work starts immediately.
So if you have suggestions, that's great. Please let us know. And then also the mental health town hall, please come a week from today in the Unit 1 all-purpose room right before Senate, 6 to 7:30.
Just one announcement. I know it's a little bit of time away, like 3 or 4 weeks, but the Student Labor Organizing Conference is set to be on October 24th and 25th. And I'm actually going to be part of a planning meeting tomorrow from 6:30 to 7:30. So if any of you are interested, want to get to know more about the subject, it'll be a pretty dope experience. Last year it was held at UC Riverside, this year it'll be held here in Berkeley. And so if you want to be included in those conversations, feel free to let me know and we can meet up offline.
So a couple weeks ago, I told everyone we were planning one of the first Dining town halls. We're still planning. It's very hard trying to get everyone down committed to the date, but I promise everyone that will happen by sometime in November. That is when we're able to get that done. In terms of other things, I'm working on a great transparency bill. I want to be transparent with everyone as well. So if you would like to see it, if you'd like to talk about it, or know where I'm coming from, please shoot me a message. I can send you a copy or our thoughts, or just like what we want to do. I also was one of the Greek senators that attended the roundtable with President Napolitano, and we did not get to discuss that tonight, but I think that's something that should be talked about. So if people want to ask questions on myself, Senator Sue, Senator Gensky, Senator Frankel, and Senator Gabrielli, please reach out to us, and we can let you all know what went down with that.
Hi everyone, so I was actually going to give you a quick summary of the Calgary's meeting. So shout out to Senator Hirschman, Senator Gensky, Senator Gabrielli for speaking on issues to Karen and Marlton that they want to bring up. Some concerns of other communities that aren't here. MCGC wanted more sessions that had to do with their needs, that people that don't have houses on Piedmont. NPHC wants a community space on Piedmont Avenue for all of their NPHC majority of communities. And Panhellenic, ISC, and ASUC centers are possibly setting up a roundtable / dialogue, because that has never happened before. And we're able to address those issues as well. If you have more questions, hit me up. Thank you.
Hi everyone, so it's coming up Monday. I'm going to have a couple of administrative meetings with the College of Engineering to go over plans for the homecoming weekend for engineering, which is going to be really exciting. I'll be sure to fill you in the following Wednesday on how those meetings go. And then, just so you all know, this weekend from October 3rd to October 5th is Cal Hacks, which is taking place in Memorial Stadium. Really, really awesome event. If any of you have never been to Hackathon, I really suggest you go to this one, because one, it is right in Memorial Stadium. It's going to be one of the largest ones that are student-run or a college in this area, which has never happened before. So definitely check it out. It is October 3rd to October 5th. Support your friends. I'm sure someone knows someone
few announcements. So first off, thank you for your senators that went to meet with me in Napolitano. For transparency, why I was not there, I had a midterm from 9 to 10, and I was negated access into the building, which upon follow-up, I heard was BS, so I'm a little mad about that. But more on to important stuff. Referendum. We met on Tuesday. Our wellness task force meets 4 to 5:30 every Tuesday. We had a lot of guests come. Juan sent like multiple members of his staff. It was awesome. And people brought up things we hadn't considered, and we really are trying to be transparent about this process. And I don't want it to end up like tonight, like being a contentious issue. It's really not. Like it's a wellness center. So if you do have issues, come talk to me, talk to Madison. That's all good and well. As Madison said about the wellness seminar, please come talk to us. We unfortunately have to keep the steering committee small, but we want you to be as involved as possible. To raise town hall announcement, I have the same announcements. Finally,